Okay, the recording has started. Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Kevin. My name is Anya Iwezu, and I'm your presenter today. I will go over the key parts of data validation. Today's objectives are to review the data validation policy, the Teagle 23-19, the Pearl reporting timeline, admin report, and the electronic version. Can everyone hear me okay? If you can you send a reaction, a thumbs up? All right, thank you. Data validation is a U.S. Department of Labor requirement to verify the accuracy, validity, and reliability of data. Data validation for Wagner Pfizer, JVSG, and TAA is a quarterly process. Each quarter, you will receive an email notification when the file sample has been generated. It will contain details about the file and the reporting period. After you receive the email notification, you will use the information on the electronic submission slide to access the data validation form. So again, the purpose of data validation, it is a US DOL requirement that to verify the accuracy, validity, and the reliability of data. And then we're required to have quarterly data validation. And also we are required to hold annual staff training. All ADOL, ES, and Career Center staff that conduct data validation throughout the year must receive training on how they are to validate each program's data. This training will be conducted at least one time a year. Also, the ADOL-ES data validation policy is located in Alabama Works under Staff Online Resources under Policies and Procedures. Teagle 23-19 Change 2. What is that? That is the Training and Employment Guidance Letter, commonly known as Teagle 23-19, and they yearly or however they see fit make modifications to this letter. So we are currently on change 2. There were no major changes for Wagner Pfizer with this change. There were some formatting changes made throughout attachment 2 that you can review after this training. There's a link to the full letter that you can access after this training. And these have been implemented in the Alabama Works system by Geo Solutions. Okay, this next slide shows you an example of the Pearl reporting timeline. Um, it shows you the calculation of the program year in the quarters. So for a quarter ending 12/31/2023, the program year is 2023 quarter 2. So we have not started that validation yet. You will receive an email when that comes out. This is an example of the admin report that we produce quarterly when data validation is completed and corrected. So the last data validation that we completed Q1 2023, Wagner-Pfizer, we had a completion rate of 100%. Everyone did a great job. We had 0% fails, passed 29.15%. And we strive to have to meet our goal of 0% fail. If you, which we'll discuss a little later, but if you have a fail, you will need to contact your data validation person so that they can review it further. There should not be an unable to validate, and you should not select not applicable, but we'll go into that a little later. This is continued report that is a breakdown of all the elements. that you all reviewed. And there were 3,470 elements reviewed. Okay, so again, everyone did a great job with the data validation on Q1 2023 Wagner-Pfizer. Okay, so now we're going to break from the PowerPoint and go into how to access the electronic version or the electronic submission version for data validation and what to look for in the client's file. So let me share. Okay. First, you will need to have two internet browsers. Here you see I have Microsoft Edge. I have that open. And you will also need Chrome, and you'll need to be logged into both. So let's go to the report. I'm in Edge now. So I'm going to scroll down to Reports and select Federal Reports. WIOA Performance, Pearl Reporting Assistant, Pearl Data Sampling. Then I'm going to filter through these reports. For funding stream, Wagner-Pfizer, we're going to review an old, already completed file because, like I said before, the new file has not come out. So we're going to look at the last quarter that we completed. Okay, so click Show Details. Okay, so we're going to click Complete Data Element Validation. The completion method, electronic defaults. And for this example, I'm going to use the Opelika Career Center. So that's Central Alabama Works. Of course, you'll select your area. Opelika, and then I will click Prepare Forms. Okay, again, this one has already been completed, but if this was a new file, then all records would show 14, and then outstanding would show 14. So that we can see all the records, we can choose all records or completed, since that's the status. So all records. And you will, each row has a form. This column is the unique individual identifier, also known as the last part is the state ID that we know as. Don't click this column because it will take you out of the report and you'll have to access the report all over again. You'll access the action column to validate the record. So for this participant, I click Validate Record. And again, don't click the identifier because it will take you out the report. So this is the joint data element validation sheet. And what we would do is look at the ID, go to Chrome so that you can look up the participant. Manage individuals, excuse me, assist an individual. And then click state ID. Let's see. 441. Okay, so we'll pull up the program and we're going to say no, we're not updating. All we're doing is validating I know we've had situations where sometimes the client is at the desk, then I can understand, but we're not updating anything. We're not making any changes to the data that's on file. We're only reviewing at this point. So no, do not create. So I go back to my sheet, and there's the program entry date, program exit date. It lists the local area, the region, the office, and the funding stream, Wagner Pizer. In the form part, the element name, all the elements for Wagner Pizer are listed, but we're only going to report those or outcome those that have a reported value. So if there's a reported value in this column, then there needs to be an audit outcome in this column. And it must be pass or fail. And that's your drop down. So the pass or fail is your only option that you should select when validating the information. So again, if there is a reported value in this column, and you'll have to scroll down to see, then there must be an audit outcome in this column. So for the data program entry, November 28th, 2022, we look at the client's record, and in this case, it does show that the application date and the participation date is correct, but sometimes you will have to go to activities and look at the first participation, look at the first service or the participation, that's the same. With the trophy service, let me say it like that. You must look at the trophy service to get the correct date. If you have any questions where you're showing that this doesn't match and you've looked at the trophy service, reach out to your data validation contact person. If it's not a pass, then it must be fail. And if it's a fail, you need to reach out to your data validation contact person. So the validator, they did a great job with this. So you must also select a source document. Viewing information in Alabama Works is an electronic record. Kevin, do you have anything to add right now?
No, I can't think of anything. I think you did a great job on showing the trophy service and the PE, which is triggers program entry. A lot of times when we get requests or help desk gets requests from people, they find these people have been registered and they put them in, but for some reason or another, staff failed to put a service in on the date of registration. So it kind of when they look at it, they see like in this person here, the registration date, it's a trophy service at 11/28/22. But sometimes when you get, for example, a sheet to do your data validation, it's got that date 11/28/22. But if you look at the beginning of the enrollment where somebody registered them, it's got like 11/26/2022. And sometimes that confuses people. But what we're looking for is the service when we're looking for an actual enrollment eligibility. It's not when you register them, it's the first service that actually counts them as being enrolled into a program. And that's with all three, Wagner Pizer, TAA, and WIOA. We really want the staff. They need to put, if they're registering them, they're doing a service, them services need to be on the same day. So other than that, that's about all I have. That's a great job.
Okay, I did have one more. Okay, so this particular record did not have any wages, but we're going to look at the activity section. So you go to wage information for program participant. Okay, it's it's very important that you match the program. You can't just choose anyone, even though the information may be the same. Make sure it is the correct application, Wagner Pizer, the correct program, and the correct participation date. Make sure this match. So this is where we would look for, let me go back to, for the wages employed in first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, after exit quarter. This is really a yes or no question. Are there wages? So this 9 means information not yet available. So it may not be, and Kevin, you can jump in anytime on this. It may not be here. And for second quarter after exit, it does say 0. So this is past, it may be there because the information may have not imported at the time the file was ran. It may have. So this just says information not yet available.
Yeah, Anya, appreciate that. And can you go back to the wage, the screen of the wages?
Yes.
This is something I wanted to share. I was going to share at the end, but I'm glad you brought this up. Some of you guys, especially some of you border career centers that borders on other states or near other states, sometimes you'll get people, they'll have wages from Tennessee or from Mississippi or
Yes.
Florida or Texas or wherever. Now, what them wages are is these wages that's reported in here right now are only through the state of Alabama UI wage exchange system. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What a USDOL receives is called Swiss wages. That is the state wage interchange system. Swiss wages are out of state wages that's been reported to USDOL, and we have interfaced into the system into Alabama Works. But the law is right now we cannot share those wages with everybody. So you don't see those wages, but they do, they're in the system, they're in the database, and they show up during data validation. Now, what we're doing and working with USDOL on is we've signed an agreement to where we're going to actually show wages into the system, and we're going to combine the Swiss wages with the interstate wages. Once we do that, on this screen here where it says has wages, that will just be a yes. It'll be a yes or no. They may have one way. No, go back to the other.
Oh, okay.
On you. Yeah. And
Okay.
over there where it says has wages, see where it's got the wage amount?
Oh, yes, right
Yeah.
here.
That will actually change to a yes or no. They either have wages or they don't have wages. What that means is they have wages. Now, right now, you see the wages. These are just Alabama reported wages. If you've been reported 1 cent, then you're counted as being employed in a job and you've had wages on there. So when this change takes place, you guys will quit seeing these numbers. You'll start receiving yes or no. And then when you data validate, I'm pretty sure I'll check with GSOL, but I'm pretty sure your data validation will just be a yes or no data validation for wages, first quarter, second, third, or fourth quarter, and also for employment, because employment is achieved just by saying yes. Also, GSOL will probably be sending everyone out an agreement to sign. It'll probably be through the system saying that you're aware that the security of receiving wages and viewing wages, and kind of a disclaimer of how that you take that responsibility. So that will probably be coming up for all staff. That's good for data validation. It's good for this. It'll also be good for follow up. But just to kind of give you a heads up on that the yes or no will be coming, and the state wages will be removed in accordance to combining the state and Swiss wages. So that's another thing I wanted to go over. And if you got any questions, we can answer them at the end of the segment. But it was a good time to bring it up. So thanks, Anya.
No, thank you, Kevin. Let me go back to the so that covers that. So once you finish validating the record or the worksheet, you click save. I'm not going to click save because, like I said, this has already been reviewed and corrected, and we have downloaded the file. So I'm just going to go back to the list of records. So when you click save, it'll automatically take you back to this list of records. And you will just work, just keep clicking validate record until you're done. If you have to go back out and do something else, pause for the day. Any ones that you complete will show completed here. Any ones that you start, maybe you passed some are incomplete, will be partially completed. And any records that you have not touched will be an outstanding. So you may see different numbers here based on your work. And these are completion stages. All records count, completed, partially completed, outstanding. This is how you see the records based on the completion stage by changing one of these. So right now we're viewing all records, but since there's 0 outstanding, we don't see anything. Partially completed, it says no records found. Partially completed, no records found. But we should see all of them for completed. These are how you access your completion stage. Okay, so once you complete that, this program, you can select another data sample. So I emphasize the pass or fail. If you select fail, you must reach out to your data validation contact to investigate the issue. Okay, I don't have a slide, but we can send out information on the contacts. Me, Anya, I am responsible for areas 3, 4, and 5. Kevin will no longer be responsible for 1 and 2. That will be transferred to Tiffany Daniels. And then areas 6 and 7 are responsibility of Heather Hall. So we'll get that information out to you on your contact. There was one more thing I wanted to show on the worksheet. So again, reported value, if there's a reported value, if there's no reported value, then there's nothing to validate. But there is a reported value, you need to have an audit outcome of pass or fail. And you need to select a source document, how you validated the data. Where did you find it? And in your drop downs, they're going to have varying types of documentation that is allowed by USDOL for you to validate the data. And that's where, if you have any questions, that's where, of course, you contact us. But if you like to research on your own, you can view the Teagle 23-19 change 2 and attachment 2, and it will give you the details on what source document can be used for element 900 or element 923. Comments are for documentation not listed. When you have a other not listed in Teagle 23-19, you put a comment on what you used. Also, I ask if you have a fail, put in a comment on why it's a fail. Just something short. It doesn't have to be a long sentence, just a short reason why it's a fail. And then, of course, contact your data validation person. This 923, other reasons for exit, says no. When we go to and their exit is August 3rd, 2023. Go to there. Okay, so Wagner Pizer, Other reasons for exit. Let me show you this. Okay, the exit outcome, you would expand that. It says exit reason, soft exit. That is a pass. That is a pass. If it says soft exit here and the other reason is no, that's a pass. But if there was another reason listed for the soft exit, reason 1 through 7 that's mentioned in the TEAGL, and then this said no, then that would be a fail. So you're just paying attention to what is in the reported value. And if you have any questions, you can reach out and we can go over it together. Right.
Anya, if I could step in a minute, there was a question that come up from Magdalena.
Okay.
Says, can we continue using the Excel spreadsheet to complete the data validation? The answer is yes. You can continue to do that if you wish right now. It may be removed eventually from GSOL. This is kind of a new way. And to me, this is much faster once you learn it. And this is the reason, one of the main reasons that we added Google to your system, to the system. We, Anya and I worked real hard in working with ADOL-IT to get Google, because now we can actually get Alabama Works. You can get it on two different screens, two different setups, and you can input services and input things in one, and it doesn't affect the other. So, that's one of the main reasons that we wanted to do that, and we wanted to add Google to that. So thanks. Good question, Magdalena.
Yeah. And so when we go back to like, let's see, back to form selection. This may say manual or electronic. So you'll have a drop down here. Right now, the default is electronic. Make sure if there are multiple, if you see manual, to change it to electronic if you're not going to use the spreadsheet. If you're not going to use a spreadsheet, you'll need to change the completion method to electronic. If you do plan to use the spreadsheet, you will need to leave it on manual or electronic. All right, so let's see. That is all I have, Kevin, for data validation. Now, if anyone has any questions or concerns, or if there's anything further.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, this is a good time to raise your hand, and we can answer it. Be glad to. We'll give everybody a minute or so, or if you want to type it in. Also, while you guys are coming up with the questions or thinking about raising your hand, Heather's going to do a survey and send a survey out on this. The previous trainings, we did a survey and we got some good responses, some good answers, and we used those responses to set up this training. So, please answer the survey for people who are supposed to attend this training, and give us good responses, good response and good honest answers. It's really helpful for us. So we'll really appreciate that. Does anybody else, any questions or anything? Anya did a great job. I think she covered about everything. Sometimes things pop up and questions happen. If you can't think of the question now, feel free to go back into Teams and put in a question after the meeting, and that way everybody else can see the question. You can always contact Tiffany, Anya, Heather, or myself, if you have any other questions. I think we did get a comment from Wendy and says, thanks for the Chrome. It will make the process much easier. Yeah, I think so. I really agree with the Chrome. I think that we're finally moving a step in the right direction and learning this stuff and learning this data validation. So can't say how much we thank you guys enough. Appreciate you more than you know. Anya, do you have any parting statements?
Well, until I don't know how soon the wages are going to show as yes or no. Um, but until then, there may be out of state wages on your let's see, I don't know if I still have. Okay, let me share my screen again. Well, there's no need really, but there may be out of state wages. Again, that goes with the pass or fail. If you can't verify wages, make sure you reach out to your contact, because we may be able to find out of state wages. Or one thing I didn't mention was the WIOA follow up. Sometimes wages are in the WIOA follow up for a client. So just let us know. That's all I got, Kevin.
Okay, great, great. Yeah, and that's true. Sometimes, especially in TAA, you get a lot of TAA when you're having to search that. Sometimes that the information from TAA is located in the WIOA enrollment, especially with MSGs and credentials. So bear in mind. Another question come up from Christina Lawrence. This is a real good question. Can we use Data Station Icon site to look for out-of-state wages? The answer to that is probably no. And let me explain to you why. When the Swiss wages, the out-of-state wages, and the in-state wages, they're loaded into the system one time a quarter. And actually, we done the Swiss wages last night. It was sent in on usually the 17th. We downloaded that, and it will not be in there. We will not do in-state wages again until next quarter. Same thing with Swiss wages. Commerce, Sanu Reedy from Commerce has requested USDOL Swiss wages. We will probably download that next week about Tuesday into the system. So those wages will be in there, and they'll be in there one time, and that's that. Now, Data Station normally and typically does it the same way, but sometimes when they pull their wages from Swiss wages from USDOL, they may not get them the same time we get ours. So there could be a difference in those numbers. If you can use Data Station for out-of-state wages and to look that up, but if there is a difference, you need to let your contact know. You're validating the data that's in the Alabama Works system. We're not validating the data that's in Data Station. So if it's not a match in Alabama Works when you're validating that data, then especially with out-of-state wages, then there's a problem within the system itself. We need to know that, and we need to, we can further research it and contact GSOL and let them know, the data's not matching, and see if they can, find the answer to it. So we would probably, we would probably rather you just stick to Alabama Works, because if there's an error to be found, then we can't really rely on the Data Station system to find that error. We've got to find it within our system and let GSOL know where it can be corrected. So I hope that helps on that one. But thanks, Christina. I don't see any other questions or anything. Real good presentation. Definitely again, I want to thank Anya and Tiffany and Heather for all they do and to help with this presentation. Anya pretty much took it and ran with it. And so we give Anya's got a good ovation. So there you go. I'm going to end this recording for today. If you guys want to stay around, I'm gonna go into the UC information, and we'll start with that. Again, you'll need to do a sign-in sheet, send it to Greg Morrison. This will be recorded, and it will be available on the YouTube site, the ADOL-ES YouTube channel. I'll try to send an email out to that as soon as I can and let you guys know about that. For those that wasn't able to watch it, you can watch it on the YouTube channel, and then get your sign-in sheets to Greg like the normal, following the normal procedure. So if there's nothing else, then I'll end the recording, and then we'll move on to our other training that we need to do. So thank
Thank
you,
you,
and
Kevin.
appreciate you attending this. So thank y'all.